proposal that I turned into NoMAA last year, October, November, whenever their grants are due. And until the very last minute, I thought I was going to do a different project, a different proposal all in mind. And then something in my head snapped, like day before the proposal was due. I think it was the same time I was doing the 10-year anniversary issue for the Manhattan Times, and it dawned on me I wasn't doing anything about the arts in this issue. I got to get the artists represented, and then I just could never get around to fitting that into the issue. So I think that the idea was always just lingering in the back of my head. And I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's really get the photography and the writing and the community organizing. Let's try and build a proposal that takes all of those into account and get it up on the wall and see where it goes. About half these folks I've known for 8 years or however long I've been up here doing the art stuff. Like Lisa Gore, who's the painter, the very first Uptown Art Stroll, she took over the sanctuary in the church here, and she has just these beautiful, huge landscapes that it filled the space unlike anything else I've seen in northern Manhattan. Just the beauty of nature in this particular sanctuary with the natural light coming in was phenomenal. So it's like folks like her, she paints the Henry Hudson Bridge from her studio. Folks like her I've had in the back of my mind for years to include in this project. And then out of nowhere, after I submit the proposal and after I start doing this, folks like John Mashad whip out a novel about Inwood. It's like, that really wasn't built into my proposal, but when this kid popped up on my screen, I said, yeah, we gotta get the Mashad in. Same with Jonathan Ullman, Frankie P, Audubon. In fact, I knew about Frankie P and Audubon through Uptown Collective. It was really reading the blog that tuned me into these guys. And they're not, I hate to put it this way, but I'll put it this way. They're not just artists. These are artists who are focused and inspired and concentrating about this neighborhood. That's what really opened the door to get people into this exhibit. So it just seems to be this moment in time when everyone just said, hey, we're living in this really cool neighborhood. I'm an artist. I want to represent. This is how I'm going to do it. And with that, I got together with Sandra and Diana a few months ago, and we wanted to turn this into a group show. Instead of just having a photograph of their work, let's get their work in. Let's get Tony Serio's painting, and let's get Natasha's miniatures in, which is easy for the visual artists, even distant. We got visual artist Distarangan over here painting the wall, creating a new mural just for this show, which is phenomenal. How do you represent Lin-Manuel Miranda? You're going to put a picture of Lin on the wall and say that's his artwork? How are you going to do GWB? You're going to throw a picture still from the movie and say that's what the movie's all about? We had to go beyond that and say, okay, if you're a performing artist, you're a musician, the only way we can honestly show your work in this environment is to show your work in this environment. So that necessitated going out and getting readers. There was a book I put out. Each portrait, each artist has an essay written about them that I wrote. I interviewed everybody, wrote them, worked with them on the text. So we got it right, we got it crafted just the right way. They're 400, 500 words at the opening, at the gallery. Very few people are going to stand here and read each one of the essays. So I figure, put them together in a book, went to blurb.com, made it real easy, photograph, essay, put them together, there they go. And for the folks back home, if you're very interested in getting this in Spanish, we'll figure out a way of making that happen. If there's a demand, we'll make it happen. Right now it's being sold at Word Up. You can also go to my website and click through to blurb.com where you can purchase it online. Next. Sort of, the story is you walk in here and these are the folks who are inspired by nature. These are the naturalist folks, and whatever about the neighborhood is that grips them from the outdoors, and it ranges from, Tony Serio just loving all the activity down by the water, to John Mashad, who's got sort of a much creepier take on nature up here in northern Manhattan. Exactly. Even Edgar, who's hanging out here in the cloisters, but he's all about, what this unicorn is experiencing out in the wild. Start off in this room, we segue into the hallway, which is really the streets. It's the urban. One of my favorite parts of the show is the Hector Canage in the laundromat next to Lin-Manuel Miranda in the bodega. It's pretty much northern Manhattan right there. Ends with NYC Salt, which is a non-profit program teaching teenagers how to do photography, how to have a career in photography. Their first 8 students, which just graduated last year, all went to college. All first-generation Dominicans going to college, first ones in their family to do it, and they walked away with $200,000 in scholarship money based on their photography skills. So it's a group show of their work back there, which is all documentary-style photography of Washington Heights and Inwood. So it's kind of, this is the next generation of artists. This is where they're starting from, and what are we in 2012 now? This is where they are in 2012. Hopefully they come back to this side 4 or 5, 6 years, whatever. They've got a new artistic direction. They've got a new artistic life to breathe into our neighborhood. You know, if you know me, I have a very hard time thinking backwards. I'm always thinking into the future. I'm wondering what we're going to do next. Things are happening here, things that nobody expected to happen. This community and these communities, I also very much see this as a group of communities and not just one of us yet. What are we going to do together? How are we going to use the arts to better integrate ourselves up here and really walk away from this experience and this time saying, man, that was when Northern Manhattan took the turn, and it didn't just take that turn, it took it in a whole new direction, and it basically flipped Manhattan upside down. People start Washington Heights and work on it. The exhibit's going to open on Thursday, January 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. It will be up through February 10th. Open weekdays, normal business hours, 178 Bennett Avenue at 189th Street. There will be an artist talk on January 18th. I believe that's a Wednesday night. So anybody involved in the exhibit, anybody who has something to say about the arts in Washington Heights and Inwood, the Uptown Renaissance, come check us out, come hang out, and let's have a nice little party.